Alright, I think we're up and going. Welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. It's Wednesday, the 5th of May, right? Yeah, May. Days have gotten lost and confused. Just getting my normal setup going here. And looks like I still can't seem to figure out how to share my own. So we'll bypass again. It's hard to do that and try it when you're not live to see what's going on, why I can't do that anymore. So tonight's small project night. We're going to work on a captive 2-in-1 chain weave bracelet. That's another one I haven't done yet. I did look it up to make sure that it wasn't somebody's weave that they sell a tutorial for. Didn't really look at see if there was any tutorial for it to see it, but I think I pretty much figured it out by looking at the pictures. They did have certain sizes on there that were much larger than what I have. They were using 14 gauge, I believe they were calling for. And I think really the only difference would be between the sizes. Just make sure your ring sizes amongst themselves give you the play you need, something that won't go through, but still have some parts of it that can go through. So I think these will work well. I just ended up grabbing some lime and pink. I don't think I've ever done anything in lime and pink, so that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to go ahead and kind of start on it while I'm chatting. If you were with us Monday night, things were a little weird Monday night. I'm still unsure. Well, I know why, but it hit me hard Monday night that I hadn't eaten all day, and so I was really out of it during the stream. I didn't realize how badly I was out of it till I did end the stream. Once I realized I hadn't eaten that all day Monday, and I was like, man, I just could not figure out what was wrong with me. As the stream went on, it got crazier and crazier. I was having a harder time thinking, and it finally hit me. You hadn't eaten, dummy. So it was one of those days. Seems about every 3 or 4 months or something or so I'll forget to eat sometime and cause myself more issues than I need. I ended up ending the stream, going to grab something to eat. I ended up passing out for about an hour and a half. I was just so out of it. I couldn't believe it took me that long to realize I hadn't eaten. And then ended up waking up, like I said, about an hour and a half later. It was about 11:30 or so my time, and I decided to get back into doing video work for the DVDs. I was up till like 4 or 5 the next morning working on them. Slept for about 4 or 5 more hours, got back up, started working on them again Tuesday. Got most everything done, so that's all good. Getting closer. And this morning I finished up another convert for my finalization of the DVDs, and it takes a little while to do those, so I kind of got a chance to finally go look at the little group of pictures of weaves that I want to do and give it a try, and decided to pick this one. I seen the picture, and then that's when I decided to go look real quick, make sure it wasn't took me a little while to figure out what this weave was even called. Like I said, I save a lot of pictures of just things like, that's cool looking. I want to look at it later because I'm busy doing something else at that point in time, you know. So, but welcome to anybody that's joining us tonight. If you're joining us now or watching later, thanks for doing so. Always give us a like, share, and stuff out there. You know, every little bit helps get our name out there. We've been around for a while, but trying to do a little more stuff. That's why we've been doing live streaming more often. Then after I kind of got that done this morning, I ended up, I needed to mow. I've been putting off mowing for a while. I should have not done so because it was getting pretty thick, but, you know, things happen. So pulled out the rider this morning and had it I'll, do the normal thing to it to get it ready, and went to start mowing, and I've got like 2 feet in, and it died on me, and I was like, what is going on? And tried to get it started back up. It was kind of starting, but as soon as I'd try to engage the cutters, the blades, it'd want to die again, and kept looking and playing. And then it got to the point where it wouldn't even start. It would turn over, but wouldn't start. So I played with it for a little while, but I was like, man, I really don't want to do it by push mower or all this, and ended up push mowering it all. And yeah, push mowering takes almost 3 hours to mow our lawn. I mean, it's not a huge lot, but rider and then using just the push to do, around the fence line or trees and stuff. Normally about a 45-minute job to an hour, depending. And yeah, but to push mow the whole thing takes almost 3 hours, so that wasn't necessarily fun. How to say that. So I did spend a good, I don't know, by the time I got done looking at the mower and trying to do it, and then it took a little longer to do the push mowing in itself, just because I now have an electric push mower, battery powered, so I can only get in about 45 minutes to an hour before the batteries want to be recharged. And so that, you gotta wait for those to charge up. I don't have any spares to, plus probably the mower needs to cool down a little bit too after that amount of time. That's one aspect of the electric battery powered lawnmower that I don't necessarily care for. But man, it is so much lighter and quieter than a gas mower, push mower anyway, that it's kind of nice. I only got to use it once last year because our gas one finally went kaput again. Well, actually, it was working. We had it looked at. It ran for about 3 more rounds, and then couldn't get the darn thing started again. And I was like, all right. I don't use it all that much. It's like I said, I just normally do around trees and the fence line. So I was like, why not just go with a small electric one? Then we'll have to worry about all the gas and all that. And so it did its job last year for the one last mowing of the season. And never tried to use it for the full lawn. So that was an experience today in and of itself. I still like it, but it does suck having to wait for the batteries to charge up when it's time. But hopefully I can get the rider going. I got some parts coming. Gonna give it a quick overhaul, see if that'll work. I mean, it is an older mower. When I was looking it up today, this particular one was made in '98. They discontinued it in 2003, I think it said. So, I mean, I didn't buy it new. I bought it used, and probably, we were trying to think about when we got this thing. I bought it for $150, so I can't really complain about it. It's lasted us at least 7, possibly even 8 years. It never really gave me any issues. I mean, there was little things here and there, but I mean, it was an older mower. $150 at the time. I was like, yeah, can't pass it up. And in all the years now, I've kind of gotten too used to having a rider to mow, just to make it so much quicker. I don't know how I'm going to live without one, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get it going again. If not, we might have to look at getting another one. Hate spending the money on it, but getting too old to be doing this push mower and stuff, that's for sure. Give me too much longer and I'll be getting too old to rider mower it. I'll need to pay somebody to come do it. I got kids though. They can come over and mow. I guess if I have the equipment, they can just come do it, right? Yeah. None of them are watching tonight, right? So I can't say, hey. Alrighty, got some here done. This is the inner smaller one. It looks like I can just kind of put it in there as a strip. Man, cats open the door again. Now I got a fly in here again. But this is the inner that's being captured. This will not actually connect to any of the pinks. The pinks will surround it in a cage style thing. So we're going to go ahead and do a little strip of this that we can start putting in there. And this might not be the best way to do this one. Oops, I should have went 4. Oh well. I can discontinue. Like I was saying, I don't know if this is the actual best way to do this weave or not. Just by looking at it and kind of going over the pictures, it's kind of how I plan on doing it. I might change it up as I go along if I find something easier. But it was like, do I want to start it this way or add to the start of it? And I was like, well, that's probably going to flop around a lot at the start if I don't make it into some type of already kind of pre-built chain per se. So that's the way I'm going. We'll see what happens. If anybody shows up and knows of an easier way or seen somebody do it before, let me know. I mean, I'm always willing to kind of change up when there are some that weaves that I've seen that are paid tutorials. You know, normally I can figure them out. But once I do like to end up getting their tutorial before I sell any pieces of it, just so I have it. Plus, I want to see, did I figure it out? Was I close enough? Most time my ring sizes are off, but it still works. So I don't really worry about too much when that happens. But I do like to buy the tutorial if it's a paid one. Which those I won't do on the stream, but trying to make sure it's, well, and finding some that I haven't done is the hardest part, because I've done a lot of weaves. Now, remembering the names of them and stuff over time, that's a different story. Alrighty, so basically what we're going to do is just kind of open up these center rings here to capture that. Let's see here. Yeah, right? Yeah. Kind of looking at the picture here. I should have printed it out or made it postable so people could look at it, but didn't have a ton of time today. So basically what we're doing is that, and then putting another ring like on the bottom across the top, and that keeps everything held together. So that will be the ultimate question. Can we do that this way? Otherwise, it's build it one chunk at a time. But I was afraid that would even be hard. But maybe that would be the easier way. The more I'm looking at it, I'm unsure. Actually, let's go ahead and go down to this one here. We'll put that one in first. Get it captured and put the upper ring in to keep it in place while we try to open up the other one and put it in between. And hopefully the ring sizes are correct. I'm unsure of that. I mean, I'm doing a guesstimate for the most part. There we go. Now I just need to get the other side up here. I don't want to go through it. It's got to go. Let's see here. And we'll go ahead and pull that out of that side. Just keep it in that side. So it's that one. So it might be easier the other way. I will be doing a couple more of these, just like I do of anything new that I do, just to see. Partially time, partially to, yeah. It might be easier to go the other route. Just not totally sure. It's just I figured this would be the easier way, but maybe not. If I can just get them in there and hold it in place while I get that one ring in. And it might get easier as I go along after this first capture gets in, because then things will be held more in place. But like I said, who knows? Being something new, I might even have just the wrong ring sizes in total. Anyway, that's going to be causing me issues. I'm unsure of even that right this second. So, well, let me go ahead and take my hat off in case my head gets into the picture here. I think I've got it though. Oh, that ring will stay. Just Flip on around, ring. You need to stay down. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And then that'll capture and hold the green one in there, the lime one. So this looks about. Yeah, just keep looking at the picture. You got the. I got the one extra starter here. Probably didn't need it right now, but we'll see what happens as we continue down. But now it should be easier because that one's already halfway captured. So then it's just a matter of getting this next one in between. And I mean, there might be an easier way to start this. Like I said, I'm kind of learning, and again, hopefully these ring sizes will work. Sometimes you just never know. Oh, I already had one pre-open there. I was like, I don't have any pre-opens. Definitely will probably, I might be able to open them while I'm working on it once I get a little further into it and got more to hold on to and all that. Just got to remember which way, and alright, it goes in there. So these two are captured that way. If I can get my fingers to hold it in place, because I need to, come through that one. That one's captured there, so this one's just got to get between those two. This might be a little too tight for this weave with this ring size. I don't know. I mean, once I get it there, it doesn't seem too bad. I should have looked up and seen if there was other ring sizes. I was seeing the one and I was like, well, I'll just try to keep the same AR, the ratio between the two rings. It's close. It's not exactly that, but it's looking like it's going to be held. So, yeah. Well, let's see here. That one was definitely a little bit easier than the first one. That'll probably be like everything. Once I get this little string done, I'll start doing them in little chunklets, and maybe we'll see if that way works a little easier. I don't know. It's kind of what I like about small project night. You just never know what you're going to end up with. Might have it work, might not have it work. I'm still unsure. This doesn't have a lot of bend in it for a bracelet, but I don't have much in there yet. Well, actually, it's got more of a bend than I thought. Not much this away. Well, actually, still not bad that way either. So, yeah, this might work fine for a bracelet. We'll see, I guess, as we continue along. Now, I'm kind of surprised it's getting some length to it already, being what it is. So yeah, I guess once you kind of get the chain started, it seems to be going a lot smoother now. Still got to get that in there and then kind of hold it in place. And I still think I'd have the same issue later. Yeah, at the end if I start going singly. But we'll find out here shortly, because I've only got a few more rings and we'll be at that point. We're only, how long have we been? 20 minutes in, and yeah, it's already kind of running into this last chunk here that I had pre-made, so definitely a fairly fastish weave. And that might get a little more difficult with it. Oh, there we go. Thought it was just going to give me issues, but yeah, I definitely like coming through the backside first to connect. It's quicker than trying to feed it through the one way and come out the other. Kind of wants to go sit a little sideways, but it just kind of wants to rock back and forth, so it's almost squarish. I guess it pretty much is squarish because there's two there, two there. It's just the center ring. And that might be a little too big, but let's see here. Getting some turn. I think that's plenty enough for bracelet size. Unless you're super. Oh, that's kind of weird looking. How'd that happen? No, because it wants to come through to do that one. I see. So basically, I just need to kind of continue what I was doing. Go ahead and pull out some more rings here. Let's do add on to this in a little strip form and continue working it up, I guess. If I do this, I need 2, yeah, so if I do that to do singles, I guess I won't find out more singles though till I get into the other. That'll capture that one, so I could put one on the other side just to go ahead and do the capture, and then just go continue up that way. If I was to do them singly instead of a chain per se and trying to feed it together. I don't know if it would be easier to start or not that way, but I will find that out later. So then, yeah, that just folds over and then put in the two upper and bottom. So yeah, that's pretty nice too. So I can do individual rings fairly simply and still hold on to it. Keep the capture there. So actually, yeah, it's starting to move along a bit. It'll be a little different when I have to start adding in the greens, but we're going to see what happens when we get there. And probably just do one green at a time, maybe 2, and see how that works. Capture that in there. So fairly simple weave, actually. It looks different. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to try it. I think the picture is a little more tighter of a weave with bigger rings, so that kind of changes all that in itself. And let's just flip over. So I could see this being a booger to start this way, though, possibly. But we will see. Well, I better check and see if I got any comments anywhere yet. I've been looking, just been weaving. So this will be the last ones before I have to start adding more of the green. Then I have no idea how many I have to keep going to make it my length. I'll need to grab a clasp. I forgot to grab a clasp before I started. So I could capture that one now, then add the green for the next capture. So it's almost like 2 chains in one. Kind of an inner chain of 1 and 1, and then an outer one of 4 and 1. Yeah, there's 4 going through each one of those. So an outer of 4 and 1, and an inner 1 and 1. And then I'd have to come in and start adding in the centers. And just come through that like that. It's simple enough for doing singles instead of like we started. I'll find out later if it was easier to start that way or start this way. So I'll do one singly all the way down, give me a good time base, and do one in a quick chain form and see if that helps, see if I can make it quicker that way or not. And that's why I always like to do multiple bracelets. Picking out another color is going to be a problem though. Always is my problem. And don't overfold that till I put in the green. So yeah, actually this lime and pink's not too bad of a color palette. I was thinking it would be weird, but I honestly, when I got into the box, that box had lime, pink, and orange in it. LOP. lime, green, and then orange and pink, and I was like, Well, I could get out another box and pick another color, but they're right here. I'll just pull these out and we'll go with it. So that's why we're actually going with pink and lime green right now. But like I said, it's not actually too bad of a color combo. I thought it was going to be horrible. Sometimes I'll pick colors just randomly and they look good together. Other times I'm unsure, but then after I'm done, it's like, you know, it still looks good. Even if it's strange colors. This would look probably good in an autumn. I could probably mix up the inners and outers, you know, every other side and change between 4 different colors and use the red, orange type of bronze and give it an autumn look. I kind of like the autumn color mixes that I've done on a few bracelets. They look really good, at least to me. This is actually pretty simple. At least with my brain working today, it's simple. Unlike Monday, yeah, that was just a horrible Monday night experience I was having. Horrible. Much better today. Can actually process brain thoughts. On the outside of you. And that's probably why I was having so many issues with the jelly cube, trying to remember my sides. I was just so food deprived, my brain couldn't comprehend what it was trying to do. I did get about 40 minutes in last night on it to work on the silver one. When I got to a point in my processing, I stopped processing on the laptop and just gone to the single. And I only had 3 more videos to do, so I was just kind of like, I'm just going to let them be here. They're already done, just need to wait for the processing of converting and all that. So got back in and finished up the silver one. Excuse me. Got a little bit more done on the colored one. I think it was violet and bubblegum are the 2 colored ones I was doing. So I might get in a little more work on them before next Monday. I'm unsure. Kind of depends on how everything else goes with doing the videos. Like I said, I've got a good chunk of the mental stuff done on it now that I've got all the videos, you know, edited and everything down. Now it's just a matter of burning up the discs and printing out the covers. And got the covers printed. I just got to cut them out and get them stuffed into the sleeves. And then I still got to print on the DVDs themselves because I use white printable DVDs. So I got to print out all of that. But that's a lot of more physical compared to doing the video where it's kind of more mental. And only somewhat, I mean, physical. It's just a matter of, I think it takes my printer about 2 minutes per disc, and I've got basically 100 DVDs to do, so it can take a little while to sit there and wait, but that's the thing, it's every, you know, couple minutes it's doing something, but then it's a wait for it. And then the fun burning process, you know, those take about 8 to 10 minutes per disc, so let's see how much curve this now gives us. Because it feels tight at points, but not tight at points. This is definitely a weird feeling weave when I'm weaving it, but yeah, it's got plenty of curl into it, so unless your wrist is smaller than that, it'll fit and actually work pretty good. I actually kind of like that look. It kind of offsets a little bit. It's almost like 4-in-1, but when you look at it closer, you can tell that it's not 4-in-1. So definitely got a cool look to it, a little different. How long are we here? We're at 6 1/4. Probably we'll take this to at least 8 1/2 before we might throw a clasp on it just to Figure it's going to be one of those more bulkier ones, so it takes more length to get to your actual wrist size. But kind of a neat weave. I got a few other color combos I'll do with it, and I don't know, I might do a straight up silver one too, and see what it looks like. And sometimes the weaves look better in color, sometimes they look better in, I didn't do that one yet, look better in color, sometimes they look better in all being all silver. So that's normally one of the other reasons why I do a couple bracelets. I try to do a solid one and solid colors, and then mix it up just so you can kind of see the difference, because it can change the look of the weave and the overall. Like I said, there's been some that I like the look better in color, and there have been other weaves that I like the look of just solid. I like my HP 4 and 3-in-1s. I've done a lot in mixed colors, but I still like it better as a single color. I mean, you can kind of mix up the color top to bottom, or have it kind of striped as one and the other. But I don't know. It's one of those weaves that, again, I kind of like better as a solid color. But that's my own personal preference. And I don't try to always just use my own personal preference, because everybody's got their own ideas. That's why I'm always asking for color combinations here and stuff. Just give me different things to try and do, because sometimes my own brain will not think too far out of the box, per se, because it likes certain things. So, and I've sold, like I said many times before, I've sold a lot of things that I didn't personally like. And it was a sturdy weave, they worked fine, I just didn't care for them. I was like, it's the only reason I only did one of them. It was especially starting early on, because it was like, I just, but that's the weirder thing, is I've sold almost all those. I don't think I have any one-off weaves anymore. I think I've sold almost all those that I just didn't think anybody would like. But people do, so got to try to mix it up. Hey, John. Sad baseball. I was listening. The headphones died. Oh, that's a bummer. Doing some JPL welding tonight. Kind of boring, but it's always good when you get it done, right? Now, I don't know if you'll be able to hear me if your headphones died. Let me check my other chats. No, I don't see anything else popping up yet. So, but we are about half hour in, so thanks for anybody that has joined in and watching now or later. Trying to get that shout out there every so often now during stream. People join and watch for a bit, got their own things to do, completely understand. So sometimes they might not be here long. If you got things to do, no biggie. You can't always come back and watch them later. I find myself doing that. I've actually watched a couple of Sean's older streams just because I was missing his live streams. And there were some that I missed here and there since he started. When he first started, I missed several of the first ones. So I try to go back and catch those at times. Granted, the last little couple weeks, not so much, because I've been so much extra busy. Had the Chiefs flag while I was trying to still do the DVDs, and finally getting things almost back to normal. I'm hoping back to normal within the next week. Would be nice. As normal as can be, anyway. Get me in some more chainmail time. I've definitely had a lot less the past couple weeks, because pretty much every waking hour, unless it's an orders, I'll stop doing processing a video and whatnot, just because business comes first over volunteer work for the school. So I'll stop for that. But other than that, it's just been constant. It's kind of been liking the streams in a way, because it actually makes me come back to it. Otherwise, I'd just be spending this next, stream night. It normally takes me, a little bit of prep time to get ready for the stream itself and the stream. It can be 2.5, 3 hours sometimes to do a full night of streaming, depending. But other than that, the rest of the time has been spent doing the video. So, like I said, this past weekend, I basically spent every waking hour. I think it was 18 hours, 16 to 18 hours on Saturday. Same on Sunday. Just cruising along. Start finishing bags and use up the piles of rings. Yeah. Well, it's always good to be able to do, other stuff that's not for orders. Gives you more playtime, experimenting. At least that's what I like to do. Once I get it, I probably have plenty enough for our first event coming up in July. But I already plan on having some more stuff built. But then I just like to play around. That's what I've been missing more, with these nights. I've been trying to do certain things. Because I don't know if I necessarily want to try experimenting on a stream. Because I could work for an hour, 2 hours, and make no progress at all in anything I was doing. That could happen with these bracelets on Small Project Wednesday. Give it a quick measure. We're just about at 8. And I'm just a little over 8. So we're getting pretty close there. I think I might do 2 more chunks. Actually, we'll do 1 more because I do have extensions I got to put on. I got both sides I need to close out. So yeah, I was seeing some of your gym ones that you've been posting over there, and they're awesome. I haven't done a whole lot of captured stuff. I've done some, but not a ton. I think part of it was just I not having the right ring sizes that to work with the certain things that I do have. I don't have a ton of stones and jewels to put in things. I'm kind of limited on those. I need to kind of want to expand a little bit on them, but not totally. Oh, I didn't want to put these in, dummy. I just want to finish it off. How am I gonna? No. I want to come through with a single. How will it look if I don't put? Well, I have to put a closure on there somehow. Let me see here. Again, I don't. Yeah, there's no. It doesn't show how their clasp is connected in this picture. So, well, let's see here. Put that one in. I've got to put 2 sides in to keep that closed, though. So, can I go through all of them? Make it like a kind of a full Persian closure there, maybe. And then I'd have to. Yeah, there's not going to be room to add 1 more there to. Yeah, I'm not digging that. Well, I guess we kind of are experimenting. Go ahead. I'll just leave. I don't want that to pull over, though. And the only other way is to put 2 more on that to keep that closed. I wonder if I want smaller pinks there on the outside. And then to 1 green. Because, that just didn't, it wouldn't fully work. I couldn't put that other ring in there that way. If I was to go just 2 of these, 1 on each side, and then single off of it onto. Might look better in pink, though. I have to pull out the boxes, but I just kind of want to see if it's going to work. Sorry I missed a bunch of these. There's dollar stone captured them all. There's silver work. Yeah, they look good though. I did like all those pretties you had. I was like, man, it makes me want to do them. It's about like anything. You see something and it's like, oh man, I haven't done that. I want to do it. It's kind of nice, I guess, in a way when you pass something that you've done a lot of, because then you're like, oh, I've done it. Okay, move on. But I always find more that I haven't done, so then it just makes you want to do them. Yeah, those would probably look better as pinks. But for purposes of finishing the bracelet, we're going to go ahead and let me grab a clasp real quick. So we can throw a clasp on and see kind of where we're at, because I'd probably end it the same way on the other side, and that's what the clasp would hold on to, is the single. I have to look at the C more, but yeah, in the OBS software that I use, or OBS, yeah, Studio, Open Broadcasting Software or something like that, you can set up different scenes so that when, if you want to, if you got a keyboard, I think you can make quick hotkeys to it. I don't have a keyboard over here, so I have to use my mouse. But once you have them in your thing here, you can just easily move it over to the next screen. And if you, I think I've got like 5 or 6 scenes set up. A few of them were for the video I was playing the other night, where I could just flip over and let it play the video for me. But yeah, you can switch back and forth. You can, like I said, you can set it up for pictures, like in the upper right corner where I'm showing some of my old stuff. That's just an image file scene that I've added to the main screen overlay, and it's in a scene in itself. So then I can just I use the mouse and transition button. I have to go pick the scene with my mouse. But there are hotkeys that you can set up on it, and I have seen it. I haven't done it just because I don't have a keyboard next to me. So we might actually be a little long on this one. I think. Let me just look here real quick and see if I'm kind of long. You do like a slideshow and talk when it, yeah. Yeah, that's what I actually did the other day when I was showing coiling. I made a montage, if you will say, of the video of coiling, then using the ringinator to do my cutting, and showing the cleaning and putting through the barrel. Kind of made like a 4-minute montage of the video, and I just took out all the audio out of the video. You do the same thing with pictures. And I just kind of talked about it when we were watching it the first time, and then I let it play a few other times to the side before I switched over camera views. I'm still on the long view, aren't I? Let me transition back. Okay, just to get an idea without pulling those out yet, where are we at? Yeah, we're just over 8 inches, and that's about where I figured we would be, so I'm going to take those 2 out. Though I do still think I want to, well, I don't know. Got that one there, 2 pinks. It won't be so intertwined. But, again, for right now, so I don't have to pull out the box and get the other color rings, which I'm probably going to have to anyway, because we're pretty much done with this bracelet already. But yeah, you can load it up and tell it what pictures you want. You can randomly do them. You can tell it to go in a certain order. If you haven't used the OBS stuff software, it's pretty good. It has its limitations, but I've actually added on a few add-ons to it that have kind of opened up a few other avenues. Because I wanted to stream to YouTube and Twitch, and if I wanted to add more, You got to use some of those like Restreamer and stuff, and those were just giving me nothing but problems. And once I found the add-ons to OBS here, I've had a lot more of an easier time getting things to work right. So I definitely like the software. Can do a lot more than what I'm using it for. I hope to expand my knowledge of it over time. My stream was losing viewers with my audio trash. Well, you know, I kind of like hearing them myself. Kind of like, I don't know if you can always hear the clicking of closing rings, but I like to hear the clicking and closing rings, you know. And I like hearing your clicking when you're clipping your coils. It's just fun, kind of, to me to hear. So, all right. So that's basically that. Let me do another quick measurement to take those out. So yeah, we're about 8.5-ish. So I probably could have gone one less than what we did here, but where we're at, 46 minutes in, and with all the jibber jabbiness, I could probably get this out and closer in the 30 range somewhere, 35-ish, maybe 38 without doing the stream. Yeah, if you ever have any other questions too, just send along a message. I'll see them either personal or on the Booga Box Facebook page. I'll be happy to answer any of the questions you might have. Give you what knowledge I currently have. I'm still learning all this too. Like I said, I've only been streaming for 2 months now or so. And it was definitely a learning curve there at the start. But thanks for joining us, John. If you watch later, I think you might have already left, so. But yeah, that is a fairly simple, quick weave that looks kind of good. I dig it. I don't know, I'm kind of digging more the green there as the connectors in a way now. Because they're kind of off center. The other ones are more the outside side size. So, yeah, definitely dig it. I think it's got plenty of curve, and we're like I said, running about 8.5 on it, just under. So if we were to take out one chunk, probably about 1/4 inch per chunk, maybe. That'll all be in my book later, whenever I get my times and ring counts and all that good jazz on it. We'll find out more of what it takes to do per inch. But yeah, it lays kind of. It doesn't want to lay square. It wants to kind of rotate onto the axis of it, but I think that makes it look even cooler. And I mean, you give it a quick look, you think the red or the pink and the green are connecting each other, but only the pinks go through pinks and the green go through green. Green's just a simple 1-in-1 chain through the middle, basically. So I definitely kind of dig that. It's kind of a nifty little weave. We still got, I wonder how could, trying to think if there's a way I could possibly do an earring out of that to make a set. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And I have to go something weird on the edges though. Or not weird, but just different. But I'm going to go ahead and put these up, and I'm going to grab a couple other colors and we'll do another same thing. But we're going to go through and do a different color setup and see what happens here. Is there anybody in any chats here? Suggest the colors as I go into my box. Both those were in the same box, like I said. That's why I pulled it out and was like, well, I'll just grab these two. They'll work. I put empty things in my holes, so I don't have to play, what was that old game you used to have numbers and you had to slide them back and forth and to get them lined up. If I don't put empty ones in here, that's what ends up happening. When I go to fold it down and I stand it up in my area, they'll slide down and then sometimes shift because I'll put it down at an angle so they'll shift sideways. Then I've got to realign them all up, so I've learned to put empty ones in my holes. Put empty ones in there, and then I don't have to worry about it later. I can open it back up and put them right back where they need to be. So, let's see here. I almost wish I had color boxes lined up, but I wonder. No, I couldn't make that stretchy. Well, because yeah, they're only connected that way. Sorry, I'm just going through my brain if I could make a stretchy version. Oh, let's see here. Do I have enough black? Let me see if I got enough black to do. Not a ton of those, but I don't know what size square would. I'd have to go up probably with a square. Got plenty of the outside black. What would we want to pair it with on the center? Wood, bronze, look good. No, I've only got. Do I have it? Yeah, I don't have it anymore in the. Well, let's see. What would my size be? Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking in my head if I went to a smaller size. 5 1/4 inch and 5/32, maybe. An 18 gauge instead of 16. Let's see here. One of 3/16 and an 18, and see how they. I wish this box would stay open so it's not getting in the way. There we go. Let me do a quick gander at ring comparison here. How will they fit into each other? Because 5/32, and it won't go all the way through. It looks about the same as what we just did. So let's see here. Did I have 3/16, 18 gauge bronze? Yeah. That could look kind of cool. And they're just going through my head here. Let's try that. Let's go try the same weave, but in a smaller ring size. Oh, now I need my 2 empties again. There are some empty already in each box because it slowly grows. I had them in smaller boxes at one point in time, and I was getting to the point where only one color was fitting per box, which in a way wasn't too bad, but I was running out of room to store the boxes. I had room in a way I couldn't double them, so I ended up going with bigger boxes, have more tubes per thing, make it a little easier to keep track of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to make a smaller version of Captive 2-in-1, I think is what the actual name is of it. So then we're going to do some bronze and black. See what it looks like. I don't think I've done a bronze and black mix. We'll see how that works out. Everything's still going smooth enough. Give me a drink real quick. I think John has left, so yeah, like I was saying, John, if you watch this later, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me. I'll be happy to answer anything I can, give you any information that I currently have, and if you ever learn something new, let me know. I'll take knowledge too. But yeah, look up the OBS stuff. I've had pretty good luck with it. So we're just going to go ahead and start working on this. Probably won't finish this in the stream. Where are we at now? 54. Coming up on an hour. We'll give this a little bit of time and see what we can do in a little bit at a time and see what it looks like. Definitely feel the difference between the 18 gauge and 16 gauge already. Kind of speeder weaving this in a way. a little different than what you would normally do, but for speed weaving. But since it's just a simple 1-in-1, it's going to be a lot harder to miss when compared to when you do it. You've got 4 rings that you still got to close up later on. It's a little different. Simple 1-in-1, because each one, instead of closing, I just pop it open, add me another one that's not been opened or closed, but it's ready to be opened for the next one. So I might have a few more of these to do this next week, and just trying to get a time and on the size differences, and because I could even mix up the colors in the center. I could go every other color with something, or so many options when you have so many more rings. I hate ring hog things, but ring hog things you can do more cool mix matchings with your colors than you can. Well, they're not ring hogs. And this definitely is not a ring hog one. At least in the version we just did, but a lot of those got used a lot more rings per inch on some weaves than this current captive 2-in-1. And there's already kind of 3 stuck together, as long as they don't fall apart. One thing I don't have happen as much on my own rings, but the ones that come prepackaged from, companies, sometimes they'll get together, because if you hit them just right, they can just flop together. It's not super easy to do, but they can just flop together. The moving around, vibrating so much, they get pre-connected. They're not closed, they're not open, so they won't necessarily fall apart unless you put the 2 ends perfectly together and slide them out. They come apart really easy. But otherwise, if you don't get it right, just right there, they're kind of stuck in that formation until you pull them apart or open them. Enough jiggling around, you might get lucky that one pops out, but most of the time I have to pull them apart. Or if it's a simple chain like this, which I do, feel like a 12-year-old, but if I'm doing a simple 1-in-1 type chain, which I do on some things to finish them off, I've done that on a tighter stainless steel for like my bow ties and stuff. If you want a neck bow tie to go around the full neck and connect, I'll finish those off in a quicker like this 1-in-1 simple close up shop. I closed that one before I put on the other ring. That's why I had to kind of start back over there, kind of get out of the habit. Just check it again real quick. So definitely, I should have counted how many rings I actually put in that one. I'm unsure. I'll have to count them later, but just give me an idea of how many I wonder I should do with this. Next one to open and close. And I'll just do this last one here, and then we can expand it later if we need to, like we just did the last one. Or I'll put a few more on this one and see if it made it any easier. I was going to try to start it the other way, but the more I kept looking at it, the more I was building it. It's like, I just don't know. I think I'd have a much harder time as a start by not doing chains first. 1-in-1 and then a 2 and 1-in-4. See, I got a lot of these are stuck together. It's alright if you're going to pre-open, because then it doesn't matter, but if you're wanting to use them this way, they're kind of stuck together. It's kind of like, a pain. Let's just close up these other 4. allergies from mowing. That's one thing I do hate about mowing days is I get so clogged up afterwards. It's all cutting all that grass and all that crap blowing around and dust. It's like I'm making my own grass that I gotta blow out of my nose all night. Alright, so then we can go back and get some opens. Because this is basically just a 2-in-1 chain. But it's also a 4-in-1 European if you were to start expanding out that way. So, yeah, I got so many of these that are stuck together. It does happen the smaller gauge you go, it seems like I do get more that get pre-stuck. Larger, definitely still same things happen, but it happens less often. And I guess it's just because it is bigger. Maybe it's just harder for them to slide together just right. But a lot of it can also depend on how springy their coils are. When they go to cut them, if there's gaps in them, you know, I can see that happening there. So. 2. 1, 2. I guess I should have counted the other rows so I knew how many to make this, but I guess we'll just kind of eyeball it. Call it good. I want to get a good chunk of it done here though before we stop the stream tonight. Where are we at? We're an hour, so could easily do another half an hour without any issues, probably. Man, there's just so many of these that are bunched up in this group. I need 2, not just a single. But these 2 can't be attached to go on there. FYI, your grandchild. Oh, that's from my kid. I start reading messages and not even knowing who they're from. I guess the grandkid is here. Well, I don't want to stop my stream yet. Feeling good tonight, and I want to see what this is going to look like. Give a preview of a smaller style. I want to get a few inches of it done at least before I stop. So you'll just have to tell them I will be there shortly. Let's say just send them to the stream, but they can't see me since I don't have a face cam. Nobody's asked to see me, so I'm good without having a face cam. I was hoping nobody would say, "Hey man, let's see you." That was one reason why I didn't necessarily want to do a stream, because I was like, I don't want to be on camera. I like being behind the camera. I like to take the video and do the stuff with it, not be in front of the video. So that's definitely been one of those learning things with doing this. Almost therapeutic in a way, because, you know, it's kind of like doing events too. I'm kind of a introvert, I guess, if you want to call it that. But doing chainmail and going to events is actually kind of therapeutic for me. You know, I always get nervous before events, going, "Oh man, I don't want to." But then when I'm there and talking to people, you know, I don't even think about it. So it's kind of weird. But I'm weird, so there you go. Sure, the kids would agree. They've always called me weirdo. Let's do, yeah, we'll go ahead and do one more group here, and then start connecting them in there. Make sure I get a few pre-open to do the start with, so I don't have to try to keep putting it down while I try to get those first few groupings started. After that, it started going a lot simpler once everything was kind of being held in place by the previous group. I still do need to put the mower up too. Set it out there cooling off. Alright, let's get a few pre-opens of these going. Try to get us a couple inches here and give what it'll look like, compare it to the larger rings. I mean, basically the center ring on the last one is going to be the outer ring size on this one. But the gauge is different too, so it's definitely a smaller gauge. First ones were 16 gauge, these are 18 gauge. So they'll have a different look just between themselves in a way. And the more I think about it, I could probably do this in 20 gauge too. What would I use? 1/8 inch? My chart's over here to show me my ARs. So it'd probably be an 1/8 inch, and there's 20 gauge. Eighth inch and maybe 3/16. I think that's what I'd probably have to go with. To give me about the same distance as same AR as what I'm currently getting out of these. So again, I'm not sure if that's what I should go with or not, but it's what we're going with, so we hope it works. It worked on the other one, so I imagine it should work on this too. Everything can be a little bit different though once you get into it, and especially with anodized rings, you can have a little bit of offness just because of the thickness of the anodizing can change up your AR, and sometimes just minor changes can make big differences. The difference between 4.1 AR and 4.2 is not much. It's just that point, but it makes a bigger difference within certain weaves that are very strict, that you go off by half a point, it can just totally destroy a piece, and just not work the way it should, and it can happen. Well, these are definitely two different colors that I've never done before. In my brain, I'm like, I've never seen me mix these two, so it's not too bad looking. It's a little hard to see because it's black with just a little bit of color to it, because the bronze isn't overly bright and not poking out like two separate colors, but it's kind of cool. Again, there might be somebody that really digs these color combinations. Just not my thing, but I'll flip the phone around there. There we go. But pretty much going together the same way as the other one did, so I must have, the ring size difference should have been, I did a quick calculation and that seems about right, so I'll pull out the other one after I get a few more done here. Now, is it starting to pull? No, that'll flop into there, so starting to wonder if I go down further if it was going to get tighter and tighter, because that'd be the problem if your center ring isn't quite right, because it's 1 and 1, it would start pulling down too tight where your center ring wouldn't stretch to your next group. But this seems to be okay. I was worried there for a minute, but it seems to be working alright. Too large would also give you kind of this same situation of not wanting to work, because then it would just, you'd be trying to shove them to the next one over, so they're going to be, instead of having the looseness that you could move over, that looseness would be gone. So this is going to work out pretty well, I think. I was just basically using the same AR difference. That's what's kind of nice about the ratios when it comes to chainmail stuff. You can if it works in that AR, it should work in the AR of a different sized ring, as long as the ARs are the same. Is it actual ratio? I'm not even sure what AR stands for. I think it's actual ratio. It's just there. It basically, I kind of put it in like when you're looking at tires, how you got P190s or whatever it is over the other. It's the difference between the width and the height and everything. Basically the same thing, but for rings. Comes and works out to be the same kind of thing. You're looking at the ring size itself, the wire size, and the ratio between the two. That gives you your AR. Once you know your AR, as long as you know, because this is close near the same AR as the bigger one, but since the wire was bigger gauge, to keep that same AR, you had to go to a bigger inside diameter. What we got here? 10. Okay, for those two. This actually might be slightly looser than the other one, but the AR is close. It's not exact. Because I think I have to look at my chart a little closer. I think on that one I was at a 4.2, and I think I'm at a I'm not even sure. Again, I was doing the quick calculations in my head between other things that I've done in relationship to it. I've done my AR. It's kind of like when I do helm. I know what size ARs work good with helm. There's some that work better, but you can still use others. It's not so dramatic. One of the AR differences that you have to really watch is dragon scale. You've got to be fairly close with your dragon scale, or it can look a little weird. Just because it'll get too loose or tight where you can't even do it. I mean, it's kind of like if you try to do a full Persian at a 16 gauge quarter inch, it will not work. But it'll work at a 18 gauge quarter inch. I think I can get 3-4 chunks in, and then it becomes structural, and it won't bend at all, and I can't put in the next one. But that's also good if you're wanting to do something in structural, some kind of a structural object. Like I do plan on, I won't use that weave in it, obviously, but in doing the chainmail chest pieces that I want to do, you want it to be tight. It could start off loose, but with the right AR, then it tightens up after just a few rings. And then you can play with it if you do like inverted round, captured inverted round. You can actually make that almost any size you want. You just double or triple up your captured rings. Sometimes only one will fit in there and it starts making it too tight. Other times if you go bigger, you could use 2 center rings as your captured rings. Again, just one of the fun, different things with chainmail. You just never know. Some things, there are some things that I've done that when you king them, it's doubling up the ring. Weave wouldn't work the way I wanted it to when it was just singled, so then I end up kinging everything and doubling them up, and maybe I just double up half of it, to tighten it up to where I want it to be. And it does the job, so. And this one's actually coming along pretty nicely too. Already kind of got a nice little, this is at least 3.5 inches there. Not a little more. Alright, we'll pull out, after we finish this last ring up, we'll pull out the other one, kind of compare the two. I almost wonder if I should have done them in the same color so you can see a better comparison. But this is kind of drastic, some light colors compared to a darker contrasted color. So that's the smaller ones, this is the bigger ones. You can definitely see the size difference there, I believe. Can I tighten up on that some? If I move them up a little bit more. so that I can leave them flat on here to easily see instead of me holding them and it moving around on us. So, same weave, just two different sizes. This one's definitely a little looser than this one, so the AR was slightly different on them, but close enough. Phone's ringing, in case you didn't hear. I've never had a phone ring during a stream, actually, now that I think about it. I never thought about turning the phone off. But, that's those two there. How long was this piece here? Yeah, almost 4 inches, so I just need to basically double that up and it'll finish up its thing. Comparison wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19 compared to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So basically 15 chunks of this equals 19 chunks of this, approximately. But it's, yeah, I kind of dig this one in a way a little bit more because of the more looserness to it. Looserness, if that's even a word. But in a way, you know, even if this was even just a little bit tighter, would be still okay as long as we can get movement to be able to go around the wrist is more what we're looking for. So both of these fit that bill. Wrong way. Come back on out on our camera here. Well, I guess I can hold it okay up to the camera. Just I gotta remember move the correct way. Definitely harder to see the color on this one just because of the colors I picked. But we get the idea here. So we're probably gonna go ahead and close up now. I probably could finish this if in another, well, that took us just 20-ish minutes or so, a little less. Probably finish that up in another 20 or less. But we're probably going to go ahead and close up shop here for tonight since the grandkids are here. I want to go say hey. I got most of the stream in tonight. Feeling good though, so I could have gone much longer for sure. Compared to Monday night. I was dragging 10 minutes into Monday nights. And like I said again, I apologize for Monday night stream. Who knows? I haven't even rewatched it yet. I was just losing my mind Monday night. I needed food. But anyway, we will be back again tomorrow. We're going to work more on the large project, which I'm wrapping that jar. I have gotten 0 done on it since last Thursday. I was hoping on my large projects I would have more done on them between weeks, and I will get back to that once we get done with the video. So, thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed watching it for a short project night. Hopefully you'll join us on other nights too. Check us back on, we're on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 7:30 Central Time. I'm not sure what that would equal into your certain times, but don't want to make it too late, don't want to make it too early. But keep on coming back, check us out, see what we got going on. Wednesday nights we're always going to be doing something a little different. Mondays will stay the same for a little bit over time. And obviously Thursday and the long project night, those are something that could take a couple months to finish depending on the project at the time. But thanks for joining us. We hope you all had fun. And click the like and share. Send out the shares. Watch us later. Come back, watch it again. And we'll see you all tomorrow night.